So here I am at the trailhead, Trapper Creek, and the adventure plan for today, next few days actually, I am going to do a loop around Observation Peak following the Trapper Creek Trail, cutting over, I don't know the name of the trail I'm cutting over on, but I'll check that out later, and then over to the Dry Creek Trail to return. There is a creek crossing at that point. I initially read that you couldn't get through there this time of year, but I looked further into it and I think those people were being sissies. So I brought some Crocs to get across the creek with, and worst case scenario, if I can't, I double back and come back this way. I'll be alright. I planned for a 4-day trip, though I intend to do it in 3, so things should pan out. And follow along and let's see how it goes. Okay, and immediately following after the fish hatchery, Wind River Road branches off to the right there, but we go straight. And then we take the first right, and it's just a little dirt road. Trapper Creek Wilderness Trailhead. Across this little bridge here. Whoa! God, it's bumpy. It's bumpy. Hope. On the right, we have our little horse camp here. What is it? Skamania County Saddle Club, Camp Howe. We ignore that. If I'm being honest, I have no idea where that goes, but there's an orange gate up there that you can't get through anyhow. So here it is, the Trapper Creek Trailhead. All loaded up, used the bathroom. By the way, there's a restroom. Vault toilet, nothing special. But here's the trailhead. As you can see, closed for the season, so I don't need my pass even though I have one. I do need to get a wilderness permit. In case you're not familiar with this concept, there's these things here. You take one, fill it out, put the carbon copy down in the back of the box there, put the other one on your pack, and they're free, and it just helps them keep track of everybody, and you also don't get the $100 fine if and somebody finds you. So here it is. We are following the Trapper Creek Trail. And we're going to cut over across Bourbon Creek, down the Dry Creek Trail, back to where we started. It's only about 14 miles, so planning for 3 or 4 days for this should not be any kind of issue. I mean, it gets dark at like 7:30 or something like that, so I'll be fine. Alright, so I am using an app called View Ranger to track this trip. I also created the route ahead of time for this trip. I'm not really that familiar with the app yet, so I didn't opt to choose to follow the route. Instead, I'm opting to just record this as a track, and I'll just see how it matches up. I'll take a trail that I've already been on some other time and try following the route and see how that goes. So anyway, here we are starting out. We've got the Dry Creek Trail right there, which I've been down a bit of, and we've got the Trapper Creek Trail here. And away we go. Looks like I'm a little early in the season to do much good out here. We've got salal with no berries. We've got bunchberry with no berries. Oregon grape with no berries, but that's okay, those are gross. So, yeah, good thing I brought enough food. Okay, so if I look a little sweaty, it's because I am. I've been walking about 14 minutes. I've gone about 1,000 yards. I'm in terrible shape. I knew this coming into it, which is one of the reasons why I gave myself such a long time to complete a little 14-mile loop. I've had to unzip my shell already, let some air come through. I'm only wearing a base layer shirt, a thin nylon button-down shirt, and this shell. It's got like a thermal reflective lining, Columbia Omni Heat. But for being, what, about 43 degrees, my little thermometer right here says I'm heating up fast. So I gotta pace it out a little bit better on these little uphill stretches and take my time. I don't want to sweat too badly, it's already wet enough out here. But I'm wearing wool and synthetics, so I'll be alright if I do get soaked a little bit. Sleeping bag is synthetic. I do have a down jacket with me, but it's inside a garbage bag. It'll be alright. Less than 3/4 of a mile in, we've got our first water source here. Doesn't look like it's going to be much in the couple of months when things start to dry out, though. Not sure what these are all about. Good this time of year, anyway. Immediately following that, we're entering the Trapper Creek Wilderness. Slightly less than a mile in, come to an intersection with Observation Trail number 132, which takes you up Observation Peak, which is going to be really nasty this time of year, and it's not part of my plan anyhow. So we continue straight where it says Trapper Creek Trail here. I think I said anyway, but a little less than a mile in. We'll just hop across this. Looks like a pretty solidly reliable water source to me. And we'll continue on the trail. Maybe someone can chime in if they know better than me, but from what I've read, this plant should be Pipsissewa. However, when I've sampled it, it tastes terrible. So it might be a misidentification, or there might just be something up with it. I've noticed some of the other plant species in the area that are supposed to be edible, like dock, is just awful every time I've sampled it. So I don't know if there's something different about this area or what it is. I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know, I guess. Just stop and take my shell off. It's so hot. It's not hot, but it's hot, you know? I already have this fleece here that I was going to put on to start out with, but it was warmer than I expected when I got here already. So I didn't put that on. Stuff that in here. It's already soaked with sweat. My back is too, yep. I'll go ahead. Lash this down under my top flat. In case you're worried about the scary boomstick. My wife makes me take it when I go by myself because she's terrified of cougars. A little over a mile and a half in, we got some snow on the trail. It's old and crusty, kind of what I expected. Getting really close to the water here, and there is another intersecting trail that we're about to go past. My only plan for today is to get up past the deer cutoff trail, staying down here on Trapper Creek. There's supposed to be some campsites down by the creek over there. So that's all the farther I'm really intending to get for today. But we'll see how I feel. Oh me, oh my. I'll keep my feet dry. Well, I got across it. I stayed dry. I don't really feel like doing the camera magic where I set the camera up and walk across and then come back for it and then walk across again. Sorry guys. Alright, so this tiny little climb here. And here's the intersecting trail. Here's Trapper Creek, continues this way. And that is Soda Peaks Lake Trail. Camera's getting a little wet. It's alright. So, I just had a little bit of a climb here. Knocked the wind out of me. Again, terrible shape. So I looked at the map, and I've got probably about another 500 yards of steep climbing up right ahead of me, so catching my breath a little bit here. But then it's smooth sailing after that for a while. We've had some problems with wind. Away we go. This is some of the Trapper Creek wilderness old growth. This tree's probably a good 4 feet across. There's a lot bigger ones out here. In fact, there's a monster right over there too. Another one kind of back there. Another one down there. We'll see even bigger ones yet coming up. Trapper Creek Trail. Big Slide Trail. Another detour I'm not going to take. Again, maybe someday. But these trails go all the way up the ridge. I'm struggling enough. Okay, immediately after the Big Slide Trail detour there. What does this say? Government Mineral Springs, that's what it says. Boy, the pitch really did a number on that. So there's the deer cutoff trail, which is the easier path, but I'm not going to go that way. I'm going to go down here and stay on the Trapper Creek Trail. The Crapper Creek, because there's supposed to be campsites down here from what I understand. So it's I don't know, 2:45, something like that. I got to the trailhead at like 1 o'clock. So we're off to a really bad start with this, which is one of the reasons why I didn't want to go any farther than here. So we'll find ourselves a campsite shortly here and check back in. Just need to stop, take a moment to appreciate this. Just excuse my camera lens, I'll have to wipe it off when I get to a campsite. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but the creek is down there somewhere. We'll be meeting up with it, which is good because I'm almost out of water. Elk. They're all over these parts. We got ourselves a little bridge here on a water source. Which, I I'm not going to fill up here. I'm going to keep going. I mean, I'm really low on water, but I can hear the creek. I know it's not far. Worst case, I'll double back. So I've got an issue. I'm the only one with any footprints coming through here. This is obviously where the trail goes. I'm gonna guess it's this. Oh boy. Well, this shows the most promise at the moment. We'll find out if I'm on the right track. Right, so I doubled back and rechecked. This is where I stopped a minute ago. And as far as I can tell, it looks like this is the trail right here. So I'm going to try following this and see what it does. Anyway, I'm not too lost either way. So I managed to find some footprints indicating that I am indeed back on the trail. I was the entire time, it looks like. It's just whoever made those other footprints didn't know where they were going. And they came from the opposite direction. So, anyway, home sweet home, I guess. I brought a tarp for a shelter, but I also brought a hammock. I'm looking around here, I'm kind of glad I did, because I don't really see anything that I feel like sleeping on. So a hammock will do. Anyway, creek's right over here. I'm gonna get some water and start getting set up. Okay, it has been a very taxing few hours since I got here. It's kind of been one problem after another. Of course, it all started with leaving my water bottle at home and having to detour back. I guess it amounted to well over an hour anyway. So I got here, found out I can't really get down to the creek very well from where I'm at, so I had to double back to get water, which is way harder than I thought it was going to be. And then I found out my water filter's clogged. Barely managed to get anything through it. Thankfully I was able to. Then for a long time I was unable to get a fire started at all. It's sort of going now that I found a down dead maple that was about 4 inches thick. Spent way too much time cutting that and batoning it with a knife that's only 4 inches long down into pieces small enough make into a fire. It's extremely smoky, but it's starting to catch. Yeah, it's just kind of been hell. Everything is so freaking wet. Also, my dinner is disgusting. It's a fettuccine alfredo thing here. Supposed to have milk and butter. I didn't have milk and butter, so it's not very good. Cut up some pepperoni stick thingies in there. Flavor contrast is really bad. Kind of a miserable experience. This is my first solo outing. It's not gone well. I'm getting through it. I've got to decide tonight, I guess by tomorrow morning, do I want to continue, knowing how bad the conditions are, or do I want to say screw it and turn around, knowing that I don't have that far to go and it's all downhill. That sounds super appealing. The timing was just awful with this, with the weather and everything too. At least I'm out here, I guess. Right. So I'm choking my way through that Alfredo stuff. We finally got a decent fire going here. Got a little more wood ready. You know what gets me about this? I brought cotton balls swabbed with Vaseline from home as a fire starter because I knew it was going to be wet and everything was going to be a problem. And I just went around grabbing dead twigs off of the trees and everything and went to start a fire like normal, and I went through an entire little pill bottle full of those things trying to get a fire to go. It just wouldn't do it. So finally, well, at that point I had actually given up, at least for a little bit, and then I decided I'd go for broke, pretend it was more like a survival situation and I needed to get a fire going kind of thing, because otherwise it was just demoralizing, really. So I found that thick maple laying down off the ground, and I know that no matter how much it rains, it's not going to penetrate more than the outer, what is it, about 1.5 inches of the wood. So if you can get the end cut off, find a piece that's at least 3 inches thick, you can find dry in the middle. And that's what I did. And I made feather sticks, and I got the fire started that way. Go figure. Fail on the man-made home-brought tinder, win for the natural tinder. I really should have just done it that way to begin with. Before it gets all the way dark, I want to show what I'm doing here. So I've got this tarp pinned pretty much all the way down to the ground. And this end you can kind of sort of almost see. I've got doors closed, basically. There's these grommets. It's not all the way to the corners. The corners I have tied inside. And then over on this end, I have it open with a hammock that you can't see. You wouldn't be able to see much anyway because it's tucked up pretty high. And then I've got an insulated sleeping pad and my sleeping bag in there. And hopefully that does me. Most of the issues I've had in the past have been with the wind. And so the prevailing wind seems to be coming from up that way, which is why I closed those doors off and put it like this. So hopefully it shouldn't be too drafty. So I wasn't quite able to finish that. That's okay. I was worried about it before because I couldn't seem to get a fire going, but now that I've got a fire going, I can throw my leftovers in the fire, which I did, and just burn them up, and then I don't have to worry about it. And I don't have to waste any water on getting my pot clean. I just am melting some snow in here. And just kind of let that simmer in there. And that'll get it cleaned out. So things are going much better than they were when I first got here. Much better. Starting to be a little bit of an enjoyable experience. Except for the fact that I'm kind of getting drizzled on. And I keep putting my hood on, but then I'll hear kind of a noise, and this hood muffles it, and I can't quite tell what direction it came from. So I kind of freak out, pull it off, and look around every now and then. My hair's still kind of getting wet. I brought a little towel with me, so I'm gonna try to get my hair dried off and I guess smoked a little bit before I go to bed. I have a wool hat to sleep in, so I'll be fine. It's just uncomfortable. Yeah. Alright, rocky start for the first solo trip, but things are looking up. Things are looking up. Well, that was an ordeal. I found out that one of the trees I was hooked to wasn't alive, and it was leaning quite precariously. So, as I was about to go to bed, I had to move my entire setup, and it's pouring down rain. So that was really interesting. Whew. I changed into some different socks, some long johns, and these Frog Togs pants, which I just blew out the crotch on, crawling around like this, which is awesome. My other pants are soaked, their socks are soaked. I was trying to get them dried out, but they wound up out in the rain because I was moving everything in a hurry, and yeah, I'm tired.
Well, good morning, I guess. It's a little after 9:30. It's pouring down rain. I was really tired. I kept waking up here and there, but I don't want to get up. I'm tired. And it's still raining. You can probably hear the rain hitting the tarp. So, I'm not in shape for this, apparently. I guess I'm gonna pack up and turn around today, because I'm not dealing with any more of this rain. Yeah. I am what you call a hot mess. Some of that's sweat, some of it's rain. I don't know what's what. Oh, man. Okay, well, not quite as bad getting out as coming in. Less uphill. Surprising amount of uphill, though. I didn't realize I went downhill that much. Back at the truck, obviously. Whoa. Okay. Despite having slept for, well, I guess I didn't sleep for 12 hours, but I was in bed for 12 hours. Oh, man. I don't know what the hell time it is right now. I can't figure it out. Anyway, gonna head back home. I might have more thoughts on this later. Alright, I wiped it off a little bit. Anyway, I had to pull over. I was just on my way out, and I noticed how many of them there are out there. There's some elks. There's a lot of elks. Come on, man, focus. There we go. They're really cool animals.